Good morning, gamers. How are y'all doing tonight?
Hello, everyone.
Thanks,
Good
everyone,
morning.
for already...
How are you all doing tonight?
Hey! When we record different from when we upload, you get both.
This is the weirdest consequences of us streaming our episodes live and then releasing them Thursday morning. Is we live in two times at the same time.
Well, today is April 7th. Actually, the right date this time rather than
Hey, you got it right this time.
I know, I did it. Hopefully you guys all got through April Fools without, a bunch of fake jokes and all that. I don't know. Maybe it's lost on me. I don't like April Fools as much anymore. There's not going to be any big gaming news because no one will take them seriously. So It's like
April Fools has never made sense to me. I've never been good at pulling off pranks. I've always been the one that gets pranked, so it actually kind of has always been like, well, great, this is gonna be the day that everybody makes fun of me. So, yeah,
right.
It's not great, but I don't. It's fine. I just don't do anything. What are you doing? Okay, there you go.
Trying to. Gosh.
Are you holding your computer?
No, I just forgot to set it up on its stand.
Oh, you got a stand for it. Ooh.
So,
yeah,
because before I don't know, it seemed like I was always looking down on everyone. You know what I mean? But anyway, everybody, welcome into the Gamers Rose podcast. Thanks everybody for already chatting it up. I'm your host, Joshua J. Wesley Lance. I've already said that, but I'm saying it again. Get us back on track because I kind of got us off track a little bit. So, Daniel, if you're watching, apologies. We were going to do your coffee. Yeah, couldn't find it.
But we didn't.
Yep. It was far away, and I didn't want to drive far away.
We had to go to the far lands of 7-Eleven. Literally, there are no 7-Elevens in our side of South Bend. We looked at a map. They're all in Mishawaka. They're all like a 20-minute drive away. And we're like, do we really want to do this for coffee? So we'll pick it up at some point.
So I'm definitely down to get it. Definitely want to get it. But so for right now, we have this. If you guys, it's Wes, you show them. It's reversed.
Hey, look, it's me. Hey, I would like to point out that this is still a 7-Eleven coffee because that's the 7-Eleven 7 on that 7 Select. It's 7 Select Cold Brew that we bought at Speedway. So that's confusing.
Hey, there's Daniel. What up, bro? What up? This stand is... we'll see if it stays. Okay. So, all right.
If it looks like Josh dies in an earthquake in the middle of the podcast, you'll know why. Yeah, let's give it a shot here. We haven't done canned coffee in a while. Oh, it's smoking. Okay, that's fun. All right.
It smells good. Ooh. I actually like it.
It's got the milk tastes weird. It's certainly not bad. I mean, I got it buy one get one free for like $2 at Speedway, so I'm not expecting gourmet coffee or anything. Okay, let me take another sip here real quick.
Derek said, "Whoa, 7-Eleven at a Speedway? I know this world's getting crazy, bro. COVID was just the beginning. Now we have gas stations.
When worlds collide, you thought Avengers Endgame was the greatest crossover in cinema history. Speedway and 7-Eleven have you beat." Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I like it actually. It says 3 shots of espresso, 18-hour cold press, 100% Arabica. Gosh, words. Arabica beans, natural source of caffeine, lactose-free milk from cows not treated with some
whatever that is.
Cows get treated with. Apparently, didn't know that's the thing, but they get treated with things. So anyway, they're not treated with that in this, if that's something you look for in your coffees. I like it.
Yeah, it's good. Like for a canned coffee you're going to pick up, I think I like this better than the La Colombe oat milk latte. It's very sweet. It's pretty bold, I will say, for being a canned coffee. It doesn't, that's not there's a 7-Eleven every other mile here in Elkhart. Yeah, that's not the case here. They're all in Mishawaka.
There's also a meth head too every,
Okay, wow.
I was just saying, it's not
no correlation. Anyway, back to my critique of the coffee. The espresso comes through really nicely. The vanilla, like it's a good blend. It's fine. The only thing is the milk tastes a little funny to me. But I mean, what are you gonna expect from a canned coffee from Speedway? Let me
True,
pull up
true.
our gamers roast. Whatchamacallit. Wait, where is it? I had it open, I promise. There it is. Okay. I think you can't share my screen minimized. I feel every time we do this show, I feel like such an old man. I'm like, how do I run this newfangled machine? There we go.
I don't know how to do it.
Okay, put my screen up there. All right. Okay, so did I really put the La Colombe at a 7.5? I'm retroactively changing my review. I cannot put this at another 7.5. The last like 4 coffees we've done, I've done a 7.5. Let's see, what have I put here? Delo's Cafe. It's definitely not as good as the Black Rifle Espresso with cream. I can't believe I put the La Colombe. Okay, hold it. No, I'm changing that. The La Colombe is going down to a 7. Because that's not on the same level as the Black Rifle was really, really good.
Yeah, Black Rifle was definitely better than this one. The Dunkin' Donuts iced caramel macchiato, isn't that the one that we reviewed when we hadn't had coffee like all week or like day or whatever? And like it was just, that was
yeah.
weird.
That kind of set off some happy sensors in my brain. I do remember that.
Derek says 7.25. We do need a 7.25 on
We're
our
gonna have to
scale.
start. Honestly, I'm gonna put this down at a 6.5 just because I'm feeling. Yeah. Well,
Ooh.
no, but the Bailey's tasted weird. It was definitely better than the Frosty Chino too.
See, this is the dilemma, everyone. We do need 7.25, 7.5, 7.75, stuff like that.
Like a 6.75. All right, I'm gonna put this
Robert,
at the bottom.
what up, Robert? Welcome.
Roberto!
He said 7.05.
I actually would say like a 6.75, but since we don't have that, I'm going to do this.
Daniel said 7.01.
Oh my word, guys. We don't have that level of precision on our scale here. What is it? Just a vanilla latte, I guess. I don't know. I'm putting it at a 7. Technically a 6.75, but 7.
6.5, that's too low. Yeah, I put it at the top of my 7 tier.
This is how we're gonna do this. We're gonna say where is it? Where is it on the?
So many coffees fall into the 7 tier for me.
Well, okay. So the problem is I think with just remove all numbers, just go. That kind of feels like what it is because honestly, none of these coffees are like terrible. Well, no, that's not true. We've had some truly terrible ones. But like the vast majority of our coffees have been like pretty good. Like it's kind of hard to mess up coffee if it's in date.
I agree.
So that's why it's hard. Is they all land between 6 and 7.
So we've only ever had one out of date coffee. So
that was bad too.
That was my fault. 6.75, maybe 6.8.
Okay, none of y'all have even tasted this stupid coffee, and you have stronger opinions than we do. So I don't know where y'all get off telling us how to rate it. You haven't even tried it.
Roasting the
I don't know.
3.145 realistically.
3.1415. Now you're missing a 1 in there, Robert. He was going for pie. I assume.
Ooh, it would be great with pie.
Really? Did you just drink that whole thing?
No, I have more.
That's too sweet. That's too sweet for a dessert coffee. That Chibo stuff would be good with a dessert.
That's true. Okay. So moving on from the coffee, we both gave it 7, top 7. You gave it 7, right? Or did you drop to 6.5?
I was gonna say like a 6.75, but I put we don't have that much variety or precision.
Wait, so you're gonna put 7.75?
No, 6.75.
6.7. Oh, okay. Well, hey, you went up. I appreciate that because I thought it was 7.25 or 7.01, something like that. A little bit more than 7. So moving on to the roast of the week, and that's your turn. So
GameRant.com. I've never played the Avengers game. I feel like it gets a lot of hate.
Pause everything.
What?
I like this one.
I should have given it a 7.11.
I officially changed mine. It's 7-11 in my book. I like
Okay.
that. I like that.
That's funny. All right, that's funny. Okay.
I continue.
I have never played the Avengers game, but this has to do with the Avengers game. I feel like it gets a lot of hate, but this is just stupid. GameRant.com, Jared Stewart. Marvel's Avengers suggests absurd workaround for PS5 crashes. Marvel's Avengers developer suggests an unfavorable and absurd, quote, workaround, unquote, for the game's latest crashing issues reported on PS5. So, real quick caveat, this has been updated. The game has since been updated that resolves the crash, but while the crashes were happening, this is what they said. Here's the article. Marvel's Avengers is not unfamiliar with fans' grievances over certain design aspects that it features. The game usually takes the brunt of its complaints over Marvel Avengers' saturation of MCU-inspired cosmetics, but its live service functionality has also caused issues in the past, and fans are still unhappy about its lack of news pertaining to a new content roadmap. Marvel's Avengers' latest patch recently launched after a brief delay. Unfortunately, players had reportedly started to receive crashes on PS5 the same day. Whether the patch was correlated as the cause or not is undetermined, but Marvel's Avengers promised to troubleshoot the issue and keep players up to date. Now, Marvel's Avengers has stated that the crashes on PS5 are still being looked at and that a potential fix will be implemented. In the meantime, Marvel's Avengers has offered an absurd recommendation for players. Marvel's Avengers has taken to its official socials to impart upon players a temporary quote-unquote workaround for this issue. However, this solution comes with an egregious caveat. Instead of telling players to wait for an eventual fix, the developer has suggested that players erase their campaign progress and start fresh in the meantime. This quote-unquote workaround seems fairly drastic and is entirely unfavorable to players who are currently in the middle of the Avengers Initiative campaign. Reasons why this was the decided upon solution is anyone's estimate, but perhaps it has something to do with the fix that Marvel's Avengers has implemented. Either way, fans are justifiably unhappy that they're being told to wipe their progress as a means to fix an error on the development side. It is likely in players' best interest to wait until Marvel's Avengers announces that the fix has gone live and has properly solved the issue in order to salvage their Avengers Initiative progress. So yeah,
that would make
that
me
PR
mad.
person is fired.
We're sorry. We screwed up. Just delete your game and start again.
Which I wonder if the reason that's the solution is because the crashes were coming in at a certain point in the story, and they're like, if people just delete their save data, it'll take them long enough to get back to the place where it's crashing that we'll have time to fix it. Like, I don't know if that's the problem, but that'd be hilarious if it was.
That makes me angry.
How does that fix the problem?
Well, imagine, like, okay, and we're going to talk about Elden Ring here in a minute, but imagine if Elden Ring was like, oh, by the way, you know this character you spent, like, I don't know, 20, 40, 50 hours building? Yeah, just delete him. Just delete him.
All of the
Do it
pain
all
and
over.
agony you went through in playing this stupid game that's like designed out of spite and
Yeah.
hardship.
I'd have been so mad. Which I know we have a couple people in the chat that have played Elden Ring, so they could relate. But I don't know. It's frustrating. That's frustrating.
Just which is stupid. So I think the saddest thing about this to me is that it's Square Enix, and Square Enix is a really like reputable company, like putting out Final Fantasy and all of these amazing games, and then they pull a move like this, and I'm like, dudes, come on. So
yeah,
roast on Square Enix for not being in touch with why would we do that? Why is that the solution to the problem? Squeenix, as people call them.
Squeenix. Yeah, I'd have been upset. That would have made me hecka angry.
I just don't understand the PR that PR move. Like, no, they're surely they had a meeting and we're like, this is probably a bad idea, but we're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, it was definitely. I would say though, it's definitely a good roast. It was a very, very good roast of the week. I like that one. They suck.
At least they fixed it. At least they finally fixed the crashes.
True, but for all those that restarted their game the day that it got fixed.
Yeah, no, Squeenix. I know it's a weird name, but Square Enix, just Squeenix. You just squish it together. It goes Square Enix. Squeenix.
Squeenix.
Robert is commenting that sounds weird, which it does, but you know,
it does. So moving on from the roast of the week, which was duly deserved. let's move into what we've been playing, and then we'll
Yeah.
get into some news. I just want to hop into this first. We were talking about it beforehand, so
All right.
also congratulations to Daniel for the gifted sub, and
Sure.
but anyway, so yes, what you want to go first?
Sure, because your game will lead into our first news story. So,
Exactly.
I got Kirby and the Forgotten Land for coverage for Geeks Under Grace. So I've been making my way through that, and that's been so much fun. I love Kirby. So I've always loved Kirby games, but I will be the first to admit that it's kind of a weak franchise. They kind of just make the same game over and over and over again. Kirby Star Allies was just Kirby's Return to Dreamland, but you could like make friends with enemies, which you'd already been able to do. It was weird. That was a weird game. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is the evolution the series has needed. It's one of the prettiest games I've ever played on the Switch. It's so much fun. The exploration is a blast. It's honestly probably the most challenging Kirby game. And I know challenging Kirby games sounds stupid, especially for everyone who's been playing Elden Ring for the past month and a half. But Kirby, or how long has Elden Ring been out? It hasn't been out that long. Anyway, um, Kirby and the Forgotten Land is just so much fun. It's the perfect blend of challenge, but yet like super casual gaming. I'm probably going to play it tonight, right before I go to bed, because it's just a really relaxing game. The music's phenomenal. It's kind of got a Mario Odyssey sort of exploration-based, mission-based gameplay. Like you can complete the main mission, but then there's like 3 sub-missions in every mission that you have to complete. And sometimes they're super easy. Like one of them was just greet 3 seabirds. So as you're swimming around, you just got to run up to the seagulls and make them fly away, and you find 3 of them, and then you complete the mission. So that's been so much fun. That's been most of my time. I also finished Link's Awakening on my little Zelda Game and Watch. It's up on my shelf. That's what I'm looking at. And I think I prefer the original to the remake. I've played both. I played and beaten both. And Link's movement in the original is better. I don't know. I like it better. I think the art style fits it better. I bought Link's Awakening DX on my 3DS for because I want to play through it again at some point. And with the
Right.
eShop closing down, I want to make sure I got it now because it will be gone. So I got that. I'm looking forward to playing through it again. Yeah, Link's Awakening is a really, really good game, but I don't know that if you're a Switch owner and you have not bought the remake for some reason, I don't know that I'd bother. I don't know that it does anything. It's very good looking, but it just feels weirdly sluggish, and I don't like the music or the art style as much. I don't know. There's something charming about the original Game Boy release. So that's what I've been doing. More Nintendo
Nice.
stuff.
Hey, I mean, a lot of people out there, like, I'm not a huge Nintendo fan. That's just not me. But Link always interested me, and we got that for the Switch. We got Link's or the Breath of the Wild for Switch and stuff like that. So that's cool. That's a lot of fun. That's just more up my alley of what I play. So, I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring, and anger is probably the first word that comes to mind, followed by fun and despair and pain.
This is why I didn't
But
want to buy this game, because I knew this is what was going to happen.
well, so my problem is a lot of people. A couple of my friends they play Aaron and Dom they look up videos and they figure out how to do it and they know what to do and all those things, which is like the new version of having a guidebook. Like back in the day, I don't know if you ever played Prince of Persia and you went and you bought the guidebook for Prince of Persia.
You played the
To
original Prince of Persia? Wait, no, you're talking like the Xbox one, right?
yeah.
Sorry, I know a Prince of Persia game that came out for the NES, and I was like, you did not play that Prince of Persia.
No, nope, not that one. No, the original Xbox Prince of Persia game. And so I had the guidebook and I'm following how to do the guidebook. So with, essentially YouTube is now the guidebook for any video game ever. Um,
Ooh.
but I like doing it like on my own, like not on my own, but just trying to figure it out on my own, right? So I spent, I don't
Right.
know, 7, 8 hours into a character just to find out it's probably the worst way to build your character. Um,
You told me about this.
yes. So I deleted him. I'm already farther along my dexterity build after like 2 hours. Was after 7 with that.
Wow.
Yeah. So building your character in a specific way is huge. Like Aaron already has a character that he's playing with, and there's a boss when you get to. So your save points or checkpoints are called signs of grace.
Okay.
Um, the sign of grace, and you can upgrade, do your whatever you need to do at a checkpoint, right? Well, there's a round table that you can go to after you get so far into a game. And so I went there, and there's this huge courtyard, and I'm like, jump down into it. It's more like a throne room, I guess. But anyway, I start walking forward, and it's like you have been invaded by some wizard the Great or something like that. Anyway, he spawns in and wrecks me, and I'm like, I'm gonna come back and kill that guy. So I went, got a little better, got more dexterity, went back in, walked right up to where he gets summoned. He spawns in, and I use my katana, and that's what I use. And it's amazing. I upgraded a little bit. It hits so fast. I two hand it so I can hit faster, and I just demolished this guy. Right, easy for
Right.
me. Aaron's level 50 something. I'm 37, 38. And I killed him, right? And I'm like, dude, it's so easy. Go do it. Aaron's like, I don't know. I got 15,000 runes. I don't want to lose it because once you die, you lose your money. And I was like, go for it, dude. I did it. I'm only level, 38, 37. He hops in there, can't do it. And he's just too slow. His character's too slow. The weapons, the armor he uses. So he can't get enough hits on him to kill him before, because the guy does massive damage. But if you can keep him off his game by knocking him down, he dies. So in that instance, my character build was better because I was able to do it. Now we went and faced a different guy, and Aaron took a massive hit and was like, I'm still alive. I took a smaller hit from the same guy and just about died. And I was like, oh, crap. So in that instance, his character is better. So it's really cool how you build your character does affect how you play the game pretty heavily based on the weapons you can use, the armor you can use, all of that stuff. So in certain aspects, the game is a lot of fun. Exploring the weird, creepy creatures that you can find and fight, and the reward when you finally kill a boss. Like, I remember killing one of these, like, it's a tree sentinel. It's like one of the very first main bosses that's just free roaming around the world when you first get in. And I remember with my big character, it took me like 40 tries to kill this guy. And I was getting so mad. Well, with the dexterity guy, it took me 2. My second try, I killed him. And I was like, yes. And you just feel so amazing and powerful that you finally did. You like, yeah, it just, you are definitely rewarded in how you feel for playing such a hard game and getting a win. You feel very angry and sad when you lose multiple times in a row, or you get killed by a low level just goon because he hits you twice, you stumble, he does a little whirlwind that knocks you back, and then he stabs you again. Now you're dead. Like, if you mess up, you can die to the weak. I died to a crab, not the giant crab, a little baby crab.
You've told me about the baby crabs.
Yeah, so it's like everything in this game can hurt you and does a lot of damage, but if you're good, it's fun.
I've heard that about From Software games, from Dark Souls to Sekiro to Bloodborne. They're just like, they're really, really punishing, but once you overcome it, they're some of the most satisfying games to play. I've never really been about that. I've never really been about, like, I've heard people like talk about, like, I broke the back of the game, and I'm just like, I'm not Bane, first of all. So I'm not really interested in breaking anything. But if you're into that sort of like challenge and overcoming sort of thing, then I can see where that could be really interesting. I love exploring and revealing things about a game world. I think that's why I'm liking Kirby so much, is I like exploring. I like learning more about these places. Whereas like that, like push, struggle, overcome is a little less enticing to me. I will say the one exception to that was Shadow of the Colossus, which is very much a struggle, finally pay off. And that game was actually very, very fun. It takes a lot of getting used to. It's kind of like, it's really, from what I've seen of Dark Souls or even Elden Ring, it looks kind of like a sluggish sort of, like, you don't feel super agile. This is the same way. You kind of like, you're grabbing onto these colossi and you have to climb up like painstakingly to get to the weak point and then stab. And it's like a slow process. But once you get it down, it's very satisfying. So I understand it to a certain extent.
Well, in Elden Ring, and I'm assuming Dark Souls 2, it depends on that. Like, my character now is super fast, and I feel like
Oh.
Speedy Gonzalez out there just boom, 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 knocking them down. My first character, 1,000 times slower. Like he'd raise his axe, boom, and just do one big hit, and then he'd have his whole stamina bar gone.
Wow.
And so it depends on how you build your character. If you build him that way, then yeah, it's more of a slow, which can be done. I'm just not that good.
Right.
So I have to hit, run away, hit, run away, hit, run away. But I've died so many times, which is why this news story we're about to hop into makes it so incredible.
Yeah, this
This
is
comes from
insane.
Game Rant by Jared. Oh my gosh, why with the names? Carvalho,
Carvalho.
Carvalho.
I think it's just Carvalho. I think the H might be
Carvalho.
silent.
Then why
Carvana.
have it in the Carvana?
That's not it.
It's
That's not
Jared
it.
from State Farm.
It's Jake. Oh
Anyway.
my word! Get your commercials right, Subway guy. And we don't talk about Jared. No.
Look.
Anyway,
It was a joke.
I have
Anyway.
no idea what just happened.
Daniel said he's spent hours on bosses. Love-hate relationship with Elden Ring, but it feels so good when you win. Exactly. It does feel amazing when you finally beat one. But this guy, it says Elden Ring player clears entire game with no damage taken. So
I already hate this guy.
With Elden Ring arriving at the latest challenge for fans from software-style game design, some skilled players are now working towards winning with different levels of mastery. While Elden Ring speedruns have become a commonplace for fans of the game, some special challenge runs have still remained too difficult even as players become experts of the lands between. One of these players, however, has finally broken through one of the most difficult challenges and managed to beat Elden Ring without taking a single hit from any source. It should also be noted that among runners, this type of run is referred to as a damageless run, which has a few differences from the more commonly seen no-hit run that only requires players to avoid hits from enemies. So there's like poison flowers and things like that in this world that will damage you if you run into them. So he's avoided all of that. And it says the players who managed to accomplish the feat first is Twitch streamer Sekiro Shadow, or Seki for short, who grew a following as a no-hit and speedrunner for Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. However, with the Elden Ring collection of bosses offering a completely new challenge, Seki has spent the last month routing and practicing no-hit and damageless runs in that game, including attempts after patches 103 rebalancing. This has led to the player finally achieving the world's first no-hit and damageless run of Elden Ring on a recent stream, a recording of which is also available on their YouTube channel. How? How? I opened up the world. I stepped out, and it's like, Elden Ring! And I'm like, oh! And the wind blew a little too hard, and I got damaged. Like, I don't understand how in the world this guy was able to do it. Like,
yeah, this is taking speedrunning to a next level, because with speedruns, you play a game over and over and over and over and over till you memorize every facet of it. And like with a game like Super Metroid, where it's like all contained and there's a set beginning and a set end and a path that you take, I understand it. I still would hate it. I think you're playing a game too much, you remove all the fun from it. But to do this with an open world game, and an open world game that was intentionally designed to be punishingly difficult, how many hours has this guy sunk into this stupid game to not only beat it within 3 hours, because it was a 3-hour run? Yeah. This initial success took almost 3 hours to complete. So a 3-hour run of an open world gigantic, but doing it without being hit. Like, how long? Like, I texted this when you sent this. I actually shared it with the Geeks Under Grace chat, and my comment was, I don't know whether to be impressed or horrified. Maybe both. Because I'm just like, dude, what?
Well, and they said some speedruns happened. I think the fastest was like 25 minutes or something like that. I could be wrong.
No, that was Dark Souls.
Oh, got you.
I assume that was It says beating Elden Ring. No, wait, hold it. No, it was Elden Ring. A no-hit
Yeah.
player
So
beating they're saying doing that with no hit. He did
right.
not do a no-hit run.
He did a
Okay, so never mind.
damageless run.
So never mind. 25 minutes. That's okay.
So for him, it took him 3 hours to do the damageless run, because I'm sure he had to be careful about how he went about the map. But like, I just, what if you get to the final boss, he's on the last sliver of health, and he just nicks you, and you're just like,
yeah, can you imagine? Because that sounds
like,
like what would happen if I did that.
not me. The very first boss I'd fight, I'd get blasted and be like, well, okay. Like the amount of time you have to restart because you got hit once.
Oh yeah.
Or you took a wrong turn and hit a poison thing. Like,
this reminds me of the guy who was doing a Pokemon Nuzlocke. So, I'm going to take a little bit of explaining here, real quick. In Pokemon, there are special versions of Pokemon called shinies. They're like different colored versions, and a Nuzlocke is just a series of rules that people put on themselves to make the games harder. This guy was doing a randomizer, so every Pokemon is random, and he was also doing an only shinies run, which means that he had to. So at the beginning of the game, you get your choice of 3 Pokemon. Usually that's predetermined. But with the randomizer, they were random. He had to wait until one of the 3 Pokemon that he could pick were a shiny randomly. And the odds were like 1 in like 5,000 that one of them would be shiny. He spent 4 hours on the first 10 minutes of the game because every time he got there and there wasn't a shiny, he had to restart. That was his stream.
well.
So every time I tell myself I want to become a video game streamer, I look at stuff like this and I'm like, do I? Probably not.
I mean, you don't have to be like,
you don't have to do that.
But...
I just don't. I don't understand I appreciate the dedication, but y'all are insane. Like,
yeah,
I guess
they do it so we don't have to. I guess
nobody has to though. That's the thing. You don't have to make yourself miserable. You're doing this for our entertainment.
Someone does. Mr. Beast has to count to 1 million. They are however many, I think 100,000. Anyway, and you know, these guys got to beat Elden Ring in 3 hours with a, you know, imagine the people now trying to do a damageless run in under 3 hours.
Oh like, yeah, this is going to be the new speedrunning category.
Like that's too much. It's too much.
Don't like it. Do not like it.
I want to try something new real quick. I was thinking about this, and if anyone has something they want us to talk about that they've seen in the gaming news, shoot it in the comments and we'll talk about it. So think about that as we start talking about our next news article. And then yeah, if we see one that we like, we'll pop it up and we'll start talking about it. So Starfield, we've talked about it quite a bit on here. It's another Games Rant article. It says more Starfield images leaked, potentially showing off base builder elements, which I am super excited for, and I hope they keep in the game.
Sorry. This game is sounding more and more like No Man's Sky, but better.
I know, like I'm ready for it.
Addressing the comment, put Robert's comment up on the screen real quick because I can address that. I recently did play a game related to coffee called Coffee Talk. It was an amazing game. We actually discussed it. I think, was it last week? The creator has actually just passed away. So like, it's kind of got a little bit more of a somber note to it, but it's an excellent game. It's a visual novel barista simulator set in an urban fantasy setting. It's like $12 to $15 on Steam. Totally worth it. Seriously. Like even if you're not a fan of visual novels, play Coffee Talk. It's so good. It's got like a lo-fi soundtrack. It's a very cozy game. You get to make drinks. You get to like mess people's drinks up. Like at one point, one of my customers was asking for an espresso and she hadn't slept in like 3 days. And I'm like, no, I'm giving you this like warm milk so that you fall asleep. And it was part of the story to refuse to give her the drink she wanted. So it's a very cool game. Yeah, I could have. But that affects the ending you get, I think. I think to get like the true ending, you have to get all of the drinks right, because there was one character storyline that I could not wrap up. And it was because they needed a very specific drink at a point in the story. And they didn't really tell you what it was. That was a little frustrating. I had to look that one up. But other than that, it's what's wrong with visual novels? Okay, Daniel? I love visual novels. They're just nice and calming. I played it back in like February, and it was just a really like calming game. Has a lo-fi hip hop soundtrack. Seriously, it's if you have the spare cash and a couple spare, it's not long. That's the only coffee related game I've ever played, but it's a good one.
And they have free trial on Xbox, so if you want
Oh
to
yeah,
just test it out, see what you think. If you got an Xbox or something like that, hit it up.
and
Um,
my review for
oh,
it should be published on Geeks Under Grace pretty soon, so you can check it out
hey,
there. I don't know when it'll be published, but hopefully
well, hey,
soon.
maybe when it is, we can throw it in whatever episode we talk about with it up. We can throw in the
The
link
description?
in the description. Link in the description to your article.
Yeah.
So, what is not a visual novel, although they might
It's
add it in,
Starfield.
is Starfield. Exactly. Now, do you have this link pulled up, Wes?
I do, yes.
That name, you say it. Philip something.
Galakovic. Philip
Galakovic.
Galakovic.
Better than I was gonna do.
Maybe Galekovic. Could be Galekovic. That looks
My
very
man
like
Philip wrote this article.
my boy Philip.
And it says screenshots from early builds of Starfield are being leaked yet again, this time possibly showing the game's WIP or WIP or whatever base building feature. Starfield is one of the most hotly anticipated games of the year, and since it's coming from the creators of a fan favorite titles such as Oblivion, Skyrim, and Fallout 3, the expectations are higher than they otherwise would have been. It's not particularly strange then that the game is being leaked left and right as of late. In fact, the latest Starfield leak comes just a few short days after the last one and follows a similar format. The person responsible for the leak claims that the featured screenshots are from an even earlier build this time around, citing an early 2017 build of the game as the
That's
original
insane.
source, which means, huh?
That's just so long ago. I don't even know why we would even be considering this a leak. I don't know. Maybe
Well,
that's just
I
me.
mean, it hasn't ever surfaced yet. But it does say, which means that the assets shown may well be severely outdated by now. So, comparing the new screenshots with previous Starfield leak from the 2018 build, there are very few differences between the two leaks in their format and in the manner in which assets are displayed. Although the heads up display is practically the same with the same third person field of view. What's curious this time, however, is the third person screenshots look like it would have been taken during a base building showcase as the character is checking out a few different door frames in a manner similar that one might see while playing Fallout 4. So I get excited for this because I love building and exploring, like Skyrim, the house building mod, or I think Hearthfire or something like Hearthstone.
Hearthstone,
I
yeah.
think. Yeah. So that is where you're able to like build a house,
Wait, no,
get
Hearthstone is
land.
the Hearthstone is the World of Warcraft card game, isn't it?
I don't know. Type in house building
Hearthfire,
Skyrim. Hearth.
Wait, no, Hearthfire Skyrim. Yes, Hearthfire is the second official
Okay.
add-on. Hearthfire.
Yeah.
Hearthstone is
So
World of
that I
Warcraft.
loved it. I loved it. I was able to buy land, build a house, do all the things. It's great. I love it. So for me, this would be awesome if they have it in there. Even if it is outdated, the fact that they at one point considered it, that means they might still have building. It might look completely different. They might have taken it out completely. I don't know. But if they do have building in this game, I'm going to be really, really excited.
Yeah, I
I
know you like that.
I don't want it to be like No Man's Sky in terms of I don't want it to be where I can just build on any planet at any place at any given time with anything I have. Like I want it to be special. Cuz otherwise you don't feel like you're anywhere's home. Like to me I'm a
Right.
traveler, but if there's like 3 places that I can build a house or something like that, I'll build one in one of those 3 places and that's always going to be home. Now you could set up camp hopefully wherever you want or whatever planet you land on. But as far as actually building a base, I like if I can only build in a few areas so that I have a set location
Right.
to build in. So I'm super excited for this game. I think it's going to be my favorite game of the year. I think that as of right now it's Elden Ring, but when this comes out, it's going to take up all my time. I'm
See,
going to like
whenever it comes to game of the year stuff, I only play like 1 or 2 games that come out every year. So it's so hard for me to pick a game of the year just because I don't play a lot of new releases. Usually I'm too busy working on my backlog or playing like I don't know. I'm really bad at when it comes to playing new games, which I really need to get better at.
Yeah, I play like the two I'm mainly gonna play is Elden Ring and this game once it comes out, possibly Hogwarts. But that got pushed back, didn't it?
Did it? I don't know. I didn't see
I
that.
thought that was something. What was the one thing that you said you might got? Because a while back we did point
Breath of the
system.
Wild.
Breath of the Wild
Breath
got.
of the
That's right.
Wild
That's
got
right. That's
delayed
right.
because I predicted that it would because I knew it would.
Right. Okay, so yeah,
Yeah,
we
Breath
don't
of
know
the
about
Wild
the
2
same.
got delayed.
Um, real quick, I do want to mention E3 is canceled officially.
Right.
Um, I think it's over. I don't think they're ever doing another E3.
I don't think that there would well, I think they'll keep doing something digitally, but as far as the actual convention, I don't think they can justify the cost of having everybody together and yeah,
Well,
which
I
kind
think
of
you're gonna
sucks.
have the leader of Xbox, like Phil Spencer. He's gonna come and be like, "Okay, I'm going to host something for you guys. Give me some money. I'll hit," because he can get like 80 million people on Twitter to see what he's doing. Right? The people that run
Yeah.
E3, that E3 was never meant to be something for the consumer. It was meant to be something for developers and for investors and things like that. And then it slowly turned into this. E3 is not going to be able to, because I forget what their reach was, but it was definitely not 80 million. I think it was a few million.
Yeah.
So they're going to be like, come to us and give us money and all these things, and we'll show your game. Developers are going to be like, no, I'd rather go to, Phil Spencer and have him get 80 million people to check my game out, Like
Yeah.
they after COVID and people realizing everything they can do digitally and do on their own and things like that, like E3's dead. It's over. It's gone.
Which is kind of sad.
Um,
I always wanted to go to E3 and I never got to, but I honestly think
yeah.
the age of conventions is over. Other than maybe like some local ones, people just don't go in for the whole national get together, have everybody together. And I just think people are a little bit more anti-social now than they used to be.
Yeah.
Even as we're kind of coming out of like the really darkest season of COVID, I think people are still a little cautious to get back into big groups in big population centers.
Well, it's so
Um,
easy to be that way now. It's so easy to be um apart.
yeah,
Like what we're doing right now. Like we don't have to be in the same area to do this podcast,
yeah.
and it makes it easier. It
Can you
makes it
imagine
simpler.
doing this 2, 3 years ago? Even
No, it'd be
like
so
I
difficult.
know the technology was there, but even in the past 3 years, it's advanced to the point that there's really no point to doing stuff in person anymore. I will say
Right.
Daniel's comment has a point. It was a good way for people to play games early at the booths. That was kind of the big. That was the kind of the big thing for E3 was being able to play games early, and it kind
Right.
of sucks that
But
that's not going to be a thing anymore.
the thing is that they're now, I mean, which they've done before, so you don't
Mhm.
have to go to the booth. Like I got a code, I can't talk about it yet. The embargo's not game, but I can't talk about the game. The Evil Dead, think pretty sure that's it. But anyway, I got a code for that on for Xbox Series X. I don't have to go to E3 to play it. I can play it right there in my living room. And then once the embargo's up, I'll be able to talk about it and kind of say what I have. But so they're giving out. I actually I have a couple codes that I really need to get into and so I can review them when they come out. But anyway, um, but
Hmm.
so like they send people codes, even people like me. Like I'm a nobody, in the gaming world. Like, but they still send me codes because I ask and I'm like, just hey, I'm here. I signed up, like just for all the random codes to see what games I get. And so they definitely send them out to bigger people and things like
Right.
that. And but yeah, I mean that's the way I can participate and check some of these things out. Um, and I think the builds I'm playing are usually like alpha builds and things like that, or closed betas. But so there just isn't a need for E3. Now, that being said, I do think there's going to be a bunch of digital showcases. I think Phil Spencer's going to throw something. PlayStation's always going to do their stuff. Um, Nintendo Directs. I mean, there's going to
Right.
be these things,
Everyone
but
will do their individual thing, but as far as this big coming together, who knows?
right. So sadly, E3's dead. I always had wanted to go to one, and me and Chase were actually talking about going to the one in 2020 until 2020. So, you know, woohoo.
Yeah.
Oh man. But that's pretty much all we have on news today. It's been a slow week. But you know, it was good just to get. We've had a lot of guests on in the past few weeks, so it was good to just get back to basics. Me, Wes, just talking about what we've been playing, talk about
I know.
games. You
It
know,
feels
talk
like a
about what
long
you guys
time
are
since we've
thinking
actually
about.
just done just the podcast.
I know, but you know, it's good, you know, and it's fun. And hey, next week we might be right back into the guest portion of everything,
we'll
you
see.
know, which is also fun. I enjoy that as well. So stay tuned for that. Got some in my throat. I'm fine. Anyway, until next time, guys, thanks again for watching. Thanks everyone in the chat. Drink lots of coffee, play lots of games. Don't die in Elden Ring. Try to beat that
You will definitely die in Elden
damaged
Ring.
run. Anyway, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks
Bye.
again, everybody, for chilling and watching.